boy Big T don't miss.
Bang, 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 boy, shit break. On a hard thing, out of Alabama, you can add Nick say.
It's good, gang. It's your boy, the Alabama Hitta, and you are now tuned in to Hit Squad TV. First and foremost, if you would, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell on the side to be notified on each and every time we decide to slide that way. Man, listen. The situation in New Orleans, yeah, the list is getting smaller. Smaller and smaller. Let's take a look at it, gang. First of all, we got Kendall Miles, Keenan Dennis, Eric Price was brought in yesterday. Robert Moody, he was the one that got, caught up underneath the car in the French Quarter. And the latest and greatest, most updated, Corey Boyd. Yeah, we got Corey Boyd that was taken into custody on today. And we got to get into it, man. Definitely got to get into it. I'm telling you, I said it yesterday, that $20,000 bounce, it's hard to turn down. Somebody talking. We got to get into it. So,
a bit of breaking news. This is a story that we've been following since it first broke last Friday. 10 inmates who escaped from a jail in New Orleans. Another one has been captured. I want to put this up on your screen. This is a tweet that we have there from the Louisiana State Police saying that the fifth fugitive arrested, it's an escaped inmate. Law enforcement agencies working collectively to locate the inmates who escaped from the New Orleans Parish Correctional Facility back on May 16th. They've now arrested 19-year-old Corey Boyd, and that's the picture that they had there of that arrest taking place. Also hearing from the Attorney General there in Louisiana saying captured inmate Corey Boyd is now back in custody. He was originally incarcerated on charges of second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, and aggravated battery. He will now face additional charges related to that escape. And so we wanted to bring you this update here on Live Now from Fox. If you've been following this story closely, we know that Louisiana State Police have been recapturing those inmates who did escape there from the jail. Again, Corey Boyd there on your screen. He is the fifth to be caught. He was briefly spotted last Friday, hours after the jailbreak happened in the French Quarter on surveillance camera video. Boyd, though, is accused of killing Brandon Fees during a car burglary back in 2024. Boyd, though, has since been taken into custody by a task force that surrounded an apartment building there in the city. His recapture leaves 5 fugitives still on the loose just 4 days after they escaped that New Orleans jail. I want to put this up on your screen. These are some of those other inmates who are still at large at this point. This is...
Man, look at this. Derek Groves, Lynn Van Buren, Leo Tate, Corey Boyd. Of course, they got him. Anton Massey and Jermaine McDonald. I think it's going to be hard to get Derek Groves and the Jermaine Donald guy. But let's let them keep talking because there's another situation evolving around this that we got to touch on.
Is what those New Orleans police officers have put out, again, except for Corey Boyd, who's at the bottom there on the left-hand side of your screen. The rest of these 5 are still on the loose. That includes Jermaine Donald, as well as Leo Tate, Linton Van Buren, Antoine Massey, and Derek Groves. So several of those are facing serious charges as well, including for Linton Van Buren's second-degree murder and armed robbery. He is still awaiting trial at this point. Jermaine Donald also arrested on second-degree murder charges. And so we'll continue to keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox as we learn more information and more of these inmates are taken into custody.
So Leo Tate, possession of a firearm, felony, burglary, and car theft. Fam, when they catch you, you get an extra 10, 15 put on the back of this. And not to mention, every one of them that they're catching, they're not bringing them back to OPP. They send them to Angola. They send them to Angola, Louisiana State Penitentiary, home of Corey Miller. Yeah. Crazy work.
So we also know that a bit earlier today, we did hear from the Attorney General as well. That Attorney General talking about the man that they say was a New Orleans jail maintenance worker who was arrested, now being held on a $1.1 million bond after admitting that he turned off the water to a toilet that covered a hole in a cell wall. This allowed those 10 men to squeeze through the gap of one of the largest jailbreaks there in recent U.S. history. Putting this up on your screen, that's the face.
Bro, the homie looked like a clucker. I'm just gonna keep it a whole stack with you. He looked like a clucker, man. Maintenance worker. Turn the water off so that your boy can unscrew the commode toilet combo, the commode sink combo. You know, we thinking they getting help from a little female, they running game, you know what I'm saying? And then wooed her, and you know what I'm saying? She helping them out, sliding them a little screwdriver, a little wrench. You know what I'm saying? A little tools to get the job done. Now they got a whole male janitorial worker that done locked in with them. I guarantee you he affiliated with these boys in one way or another, you know what I'm saying, from the street. And that's probably how he got involved. But yeah, he in for it. He in for it.
Of the person that has now been arrested. We do want to continue on with this. Of course, we do know that those inmates there during that escaped by yanking open a faulty cell door, moving the toilet, and then were able to exit through that hole. Graffiti on the wall included the message, "Too easy," with an arrow and an LOL pointing to that gap. Putting that up on your screen as well. We'll get back to that tweet there from the Attorney General. But that's the image that has been going viral ever since. That's the hole where those inmates were able to escape. Of course, we now know that fifth person has been arrested, 5 more still on the loose. And again, as it pertains to that other arrest of the maintenance worker, we do know that his name is Sterling Williams, and he's now being held on a bond amount at $1.1 million. Attorney General Murrow is saying that it's $100,000 for each charge that he is now facing. Saying at the bottom, if you are helping any of these escaped inmates in any way, you too will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Wanted to get that story in for you here on Live Now from Fox. We'll continue to keep you updated. If we have any other updates, any more.
So fam, listen, they're not playing with these people. If you're housing them, if you're transporting them from point A to point B, yeah, finna do some time. We just got to keep the whole stack. You about to do some time. They're not playing with you behind this. You know what I'm saying? And when these boys go back, they're going to straight to the state penitentiary, and they're gonna smack them with the most time possible. Heard the charges. You know what I'm saying? So just want to bring y'all an update on that. But the news of the day that just broke, I would say about 45 minutes ago, Rod Wave has been arrested again. And I say again because, you know, Rod Wave comes across as a R&B singer. You know what I'm saying? He's a lovable type of guy. But, you know what I'm saying, his exterior may be that of, you know what I'm saying, a soft and cuddly dude, according to the females that make depressed music. But y'all remember this. I know y'all remember this.
The 5 men St. Petersburg police say are involved in this shooting Sunday outside Sonic Sports Bar and Lounge have now all been charged. 4 face attempted second-degree murder charges, while Elias Torres faces principal to attempt second-degree murder.
They ended up hitting 4 people that were uninvolved. So we're very lucky that those people weren't killed.
Police say the 5 suspects are part of the gang the YGs, or the Young Gangsters.
These are not kids. These are grown men. These are men in their 20s and 30s that are involved in this gang. We believe we've been, kind of watching them since 2022, 2023.
Investigators say the YGs live in homes and drive cars that are registered in rapper Rodarius Green, aka Rod Wave's name, including the car they fled in Sunday night.
He posts with them on social media, writes songs about them.
St. Pete police say while it's too soon to tell how many other crimes the group may be involved in, they're processing evidence from Sunday's investigation that will help them find out, including 10 guns, ammunition, and more than $10,000 in cash and jewelry. Detectives already tied a BMW found at one of Rod Wave's 2 homes that officers searched to several other shootings in the city. Wave was initially arrested on gun charges that were then dropped, and he was released from jail Wednesday.
Initially, it was thought that he was a convicted felon, therefore it was illegal for him to have the ammunition, and that's what he was charged with. However, it was determined that his prior charge had been reduced to a misdemeanor.
Police are looking at Wave as part of a bigger investigation, but he doesn't face any charges right now. Kaylee Tracy, Fox 13 News.
That was last year. That was just last year. Now, you got this. This ain't in Manatee. This ain't in St. Pete. This is in Fulton County. Yeah. I.e. Fannie Willis. First charge. Aggravated assault. Second charge. Possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of attempt to commit certain felonies. Pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at another. Reckless conduct. Criminal damage to property, second degree. Willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, misdemeanor. Tampering with evidence, that's a felony. Possession of a firearm or knife during the commission or attempt to commit certain felonies, another one. Simple assault. Man, listen. If Rod Wave don't change his circle, man, these folk gonna come out there for conspiracy. They already done told you. They done laid the foundation. They say he part of a group called the YGs. You know what I'm saying? What they just did, what you just saw was from Easter Sunday of last year. Now you swing the block and you got this right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope Rod Wave can get some sound counsel. His dad is usually in his ear, helping guide his career. We're gonna need somebody like that. Rod Wave don't need to be out here bouncing and turning and moving with these gangsters like this. You know what I'm saying? They already got his houses, his property under surveillance because these guys live in that property. So this just broke, and as we get more details, we're gonna keep you updated on it. But it's a sad situation for a guy that damn near command $500,000 for a performance. Yeah, we were talking about YB last night. Rod Wave commands damn near as much as some of your biggest artists. And you out here moving like this, you're gonna fumble the whole bag. You're gonna fumble the whole bag. But that's my time. If y'all still rocking with me, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell on the side to be notified on each and every time we decide to slide. And then until the next time we decide to spin, I'm in the wind. Until the next time, salute to the hitters. We gone.